CENTCOM headquarters over in Doha, Qatar. Sometime during the course of that year that I was there, President Bush came over, along with the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Defense. They were getting an update from the CENTCOM commander, and then President Bush was going to deliver a major speech from the location there. And so the expectation was that everybody wasn't actually on watch working, that they were all going to show up at this warehouse at a stage built for this purpose and be there for the speech. But that was the expectation. But let's face it, when the commander-in-chief shows up, you're going, right? So we went over to the building for the speech, and it was relatively small. So all of us were like packed in there like sardines. You were like elbow to elbow, and there was like nowhere to move. And as luck would have it, I got behind this mountain of a person standing in front of me, with this giant melon head, and there was like no way, to see. I was like at the mercy of this guy. Whenever he would shift his weight, it became a problem for me, right? So if he moved his weight from one leg to another, slid over because I was trying to peek over his shoulder. Okay? And I looked it up. I'm basically average height, which means 50% of the population of males anyway is taller than me, which really stinks, by the way. And, I'm sitting there trying to look over this guy, except every time he moved, I had to try to get over and look over the other shoulder to kind of see what was going on. Now, I kind of lucked out in that after, some of the, of course, one of these things, everybody has to talk, right? So the speeches were, it wasn't just, the only thing that was televised was the president's, but everybody under the sun had to say something before that happened. And so all of this was going on. And somebody I knew, though, had gone over to the side and taken a couple of big military shipping crates and had kind of stacked them up and was motioning for me to come over. Now, that wasn't an easy exercise in and of itself because it was basically like being in a mosh pit, and you had to kind of elbow your way over in order to get over to the side. But I eventually made it there and was able to get up these crates, and I had a pretty decent view of what was going on. So I kind of lucked out in that regard. But it made me think of the story the story of Zacchaeus that we hear about in the gospel. Now, there's really two levels of meaning of what's taking place here in this. The first thing is to kind of look at it at the basic esoteric level. It was kind of ingenious what he did. Zacchaeus, we know already that he is not only a tax collector, but the chief tax collector. It's important language. Remember last week, it was all of 7 days ago, when we had last week's gospel reading. Remember there was two figures in there in the temple. One was a Pharisee who was in praying, and he was making the prayer, as Luke told us, and it was Jesus relating the story, of course, that the Pharisee was making this prayer to himself. But the tax collector, it was important that Luke told us that, and Luke continually uses tax collectors in his stories, that we knew that the tax collector was a sinful person, a Roman collaborator, one of those people who would have taken excess money from people as they were paying their taxes. Now, what do we know about Zacchaeus? Not only is he a tax collector, he is the chief tax collector of the area. So you know that he's more crooked than most, and and in fact we're told that he's also a wealthy person. Probably the wealth came, through ill-gotten gains. So now we have set up who Zacchaeus was. But he at first blush has at least curiosity of knowing who this Jesus was. He hadn't really gone through any particular conversion or anything at this point yet. We know that Zacchaeus, though, had an interest in seeing who Jesus was. He heard about him and wanted to see him. So what does he do in order to be able to see? He's short, he climbs a tree. All right, so at one level, we understand that he had at least enough interest in seeing who Jesus was that he did a basic smart thing of climbing a tree. Now, in and of itself, that's interesting, but it's not really the point. right? In and of itself, it's kind of a metaphor. It's a metaphor for something else that's taking place. Because if you really think about it, it has a spiritual element to it. That Zacchaeus was trapped in his normal pattern of sin. He was in more or less a low state spiritually because of the things that he had done. We know because he was a tax collector, he was a sinful person. It's the shorthand that Luke and Jesus used in this gospel. So he was trapped in his normal smallness of life. But at least he had made the effort to want to get above it. Right? He was trying to rise above the smallness of his spiritual life in order to achieve something greater. Because it was by rising above that that now he could actually see Jesus. He got above all of his sinfulness, and now he was open to something greater. It's an important element to the story, because it's how it relates to us. Because no matter how big we are physically, most of us, I put myself chief in that category, are small spiritually. We get trapped in the smallness of life. We get trapped in our sinfulness. We're constantly looking at the backside of some mountain with a giant melon head that's preventing us from seeing Christ. We're trapped in the smallness, and we need to rise above. We need to be more like Zacchaeus, who is at least willing to rise above in order to be able to have a relationship with Jesus. And because he did so, he was rewarded for it. Jesus came to him and said, "Today I must stay at your house." Through us, what's important for us, so in order to achieve our ability to get out of the smallness of life, in order to have that relationship, is to be people who repent. It's exactly what Zacchaeus did, right? When confronted with his sins, what did he do? He was willing to give up the things that he got, ill-gotten gains, give up half of his money, give it to the poor, and if he had extorted anything from anyone, he was willing to give that back 4 times over. That encounter was so important to him that he needed to change. And changing is our way of elevating ourselves out of the ordinary. It's important for us to take a look at ourselves. Find the places that we're being stuck in the smallness, that we're blocking our view of who Jesus is. It's through the process of repentance that we can elevate above and actually see and have a relationship with Christ. The importance of the story is not what Zacchaeus did physically. It's what he did spiritually. It's rising above to the process of forgiveness and repentance that now we can truly have a relationship with Jesus.